Hello and welcome to a new episode of Vibes, and you've got myself and we have
Mandeep as well, in the
yeah
flesh. Yes.
yeah so it's
So
been a
yeah,
while. We've been really busy, so we haven't really had an opportunity to really do a podcast, but we both were kind of missing it,
yeah,
so we had to do it.
yeah. Plus, probably in the last 4 weeks or so, there haven't been a huge amount of developments happening in the world of tech, but the last couple of weeks it has picked up.
Yeah, most definitely. So we're going to kick off with a big thing, and Mandeep, this is being a major Android user, a big thing for you. Hawaii and
Yes,
Google and the spat with the US, like they're not going to have access to Google services. I mean, wow. I mean, what is that all about?
that's a huge thing. The fact that Huawei's kicked off quite big in the UK as well, to get a wider presence, and now having to no longer have access to Google services. How is that going to affect them in the long run? There are talks about Huawei now bringing out their own OS as well,
Yeah.
um, but still working on the Android framework on the is it AOSP, the Android. Um,
Well, the thing is that look, Android is open sourced, right? So
yeah,
anybody can have Android on their device. It's the case of they're not going to have access to the Play Store. They're not going to have access to the updates that they put on out there. I mean, people are going to have these phones and it's going to be out of date quite quickly. I mean, from
yeah,
what I've read, the terms and conditions, they have 90 days. So you still got 90 days to get these updates. But within those 90 days, the company needs to do something. Like, they've got to make their own OS, clearly.
yeah. So the thing is, it's not very clear. Definitely they're not getting the updates going forward. The existing stuff, whether it'll continue working, I know you can port Google Play Store onto devices that don't have access to Google. So in essence, I believe it may still have access to the Play Store, but yeah, it won't get updates, it won't get anything like that. So when they bring out their own OS, they
Yeah.
have to try and, how can they create their own market? I know in China that the Google services aren't available, so they do have their own market out there. Maybe they can incorporate that and
But then it comes,
somehow bring that globally. But
yeah, but we're going to end up with Spygate.
yeah,
That's going to,
yeah,
next thing,
exactly.
Spygate. China's
But that's the
spying
whole
on
that's the whole reason of Huawei. That well, I believe it's all scaremongering. That's what I believe. But the U.S. government have had a bit of a paddy about it, really.
I mean, okay, let's say if we take
You can
out
see,
every single US app out of the equation, because they did sign something to say nothing US based is allowed. So you have US companies that will make apps that are generated in the US and you can't touch it. Like,
yeah,
wow, that's a big hit. And for anybody who's recently bought the brand new P30 Pro and stuff like that, that's a blow. That's a
I, I
massive
mean,
blow.
when you look at this whole Huawei side of things, where the U.S. are having sanctions against them. What about in China? There's many Chinese apps, phones, and so forth. Apple are such a huge status over there. Why are China not um, throwing it up in the air and saying we're no longer going to give you access to anything?
Well, they don't really care, do they? I mean,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
can.
That's the thing. I think
But
it's just so much
yeah, but the
scaremongering
problem is no,
involved.
no, wait. But the problem here is Chinese people buy Chinese goods more so, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they have goods that will take everything
Yeah,
off. So you can buy a knockoff BMW or a knockoff Jaguar. It
yeah,
looks the
that's true.
same. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So they can get these actual devices. For us, it's slightly different. Like our last British manufacturer for a phone, they went under. So you know. Um,
yes, there was actually a few years back Android devices that came out. Yeah, they went straight under. Um,
yeah.
But yeah, the latest thing I've read just now is that people in China are actually starting to shun Apple devices,
Yeah,
especially
no.
because of um, this whole side of things in the US. So what I've heard about the whole Apple side of things failing in China as well, how Chinese Chinese public are actually now, yeah, like I said, shunning Apple devices. I just read a quote from someone that it's now becoming embarrassing to pull out your Apple device in public and in major exec
Wow.
meetings at Huawei, especially with the execs all having Huawei devices. That's the way forward for them. So, I mean, there are figures that Apple are actually losing coverage in China. How that will affect them in the long term,
I mean, they
I
never
don't know.
really had much of a footing, though, did they?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a massive market, and that is the market that the US want. The US want that market. Even when it comes to Hollywood films, the first thing they think about nowadays is how can we please the Chinese
Well,
public
correct me if
to
I'm
get a
wrong, but
huge
I think
amount of money out of it.
a lot of these studios are beginning to be owned by Chinese companies or by Chinese people. Um, that my understanding, I could be completely wrong about it, but from what somebody told me, and like I said, it could be wrong. I think they do have a foothold within the whole Hollywood industry, and when it comes to movies and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, I mean,
it's just
it is odd. I mean, everybody thinks the iPhone is such a big success globally, but to be honest, there's other phones that have surpassed it.
yeah,
I mean, Samsung and obviously the company in question that we're talking about right now,
yeah,
two biggest of the major manufacturers across the world
yeah.
globally, and they're bigger than Apple. So
And the thing with Huawei is that they're bringing out new technological advances forward every time. That again, yeah, that's another thing I read about the Chinese public. They're not willing to go back to Apple due to the fact that they're so behind the times. Basically, yeah, they do things nicely and it looks good and it works good, but it's not the latest of the latest.
no,
That's the
they
thing.
haven't innovated for a long while, have they? Let's
Yeah,
be honest about it.
exactly.
Apple have never been innovators. They have always
Yeah,
been a company, in my eyes, that grabs something, do it slightly better, and then market the hell out of it.
yeah,
And a
that's it.
really good marketing job out of it. And I
They've,
wrote, for anybody that follows me on LinkedIn, I actually wrote an article a long time, I think it was back in 2012, where Google Pay was actually available. But I said until Apple Pay doesn't come out, nobody will ever use it. And that was the case.
yeah,
That was
it's
the
true.
case.
That is true.
So Apple's
Wow.
marketing is up there. So if Apple, ideally, in an ideal world, Apple should make a phone with China that's made for the Chinese market, but use their marketing skills.
That's
Just
true.
saying.
It's true.
But talking
Uh,
about Huawei as a company, just generally, they're folding phones. It's one of the phones that
Yeah,
is going to be affected, but folding phones has been a big topic these past few weeks, and with the
yeah,
Samsung especially, like wow. I mean, we were there laughing about picking it up and queuing up for the phone. Well, no one's queuing up for it at the moment. So
yeah,
for those of you who don't know, it went to hands of reviewers and they were playing around with the phone and they managed to break the screen. The one one of it was the weird plastic cover on the screen because you can't really
yeah.
fold glass, and people were peeling
True.
that off,
It's like
killing
a
the screen.
thinking is a screen protector when it wasn't.
No. And then they pull it and then they kill the screen. That was, I mean, why would you make it even pullable in the first place is what I question.
True. Yeah.
And then the second thing is where the hinges, stuff can go in between and destroy the screen anyway.
Yeah. Slight gap that was there. Yeah. It's just little things that they didn't think about. But I
No.
mean, hopefully they refine it and they bring it out. But the huge cost involved in now these devices, are people going to pay for that? That's the thing,
I
especially
mean,
with Pixel now deciding to go for the mid-range market, because
yeah.
that's the payment that consumers want to make, and then paying what, nearly $2,000 for an item for something that's in your pocket.
Well, to be honest, it hasn't gone to anybody's hands as of
Yeah,
yet. So we're kind of lucky that it wasn't at that stage. But they have they have captured it. It took 8 years of development to get to this stage. It's not quite ready, is it?
yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, I can't see myself spending $2,000. Can't see a lot of people spending that amount of money for this device, which is essentially just giving you a bigger screen to play around with. That's about it, really.
Yeah,
Um,
true. I
the
mean,
majority side of it.
Lenovo obviously touted their foldable laptop. Still had
Yeah,
that weird plastic covering where the
That's
fold
it.
is. I
That's
mean,
it.
to
So it's
me,
not.
it just seems like they just put a bit of tape just to be like, oh, we have the
Yeah,
same design,
exactly.
we need to cover it.
Exactly. We saw that the other day. I just laughed at the thinking, is that just tape, black tape, gaffer tape that you get and just sticking that on there? But
Yeah,
yeah, it's just fascinating to see, really.
yeah, no, it is, but yeah,
So I think the way forward is still Xiaomi and what they've created with their foldable phone. I don't know if they will ever release it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's a great device. It's just the fact that you can
oh, is
fold
this the
it
one that
on two
folds on
sides.
the?
Two sides, yeah. It folds in the middle and then it folds around the edges. So essentially, it becomes a very smaller device in your hand, easier to hold. But then you fold it out, you've got a large display.
Okay, no, but now I have an issue with that. Aren't they a Chinese company?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
So they're gonna miss out on Google updates.
oh man, I don't think it's going to happen to every company, but Huawei's the main one. I hope it doesn't because I've actually got a Xiaomi device, Xiaomi Mi
Yeah,
Mix 3, great device,
which
but
is a nice phone, I have to admit.
yeah,
It's a nice phone.
definitely
So
is
for
nice.
you who don't know, it's one of those phones where it's all screen on the front, and you slide the phone down, and the camera's behind the sliding part, which is really cool. I really like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still
how are
think
you
that's.
finding it anyway?
I
I'm
think it's
really
great.
curious to know.
No issues with our OS. Brilliant phone. The sliding function is great. Becomes addictive after a while. You literally feels good to just slide the phone down.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that should be the way they do it, especially without these pop-up devices, pop-up cameras. That you think
Yeah.
motorized side of things, something's going to fail down the road.
Oh, the pop-up camera, the One Plus 7
Yes,
Pro,
yes.
the pop-up camera on that. I mean,
I didn't think they would do it. I thought they would come out some other way, but to bring out a pop-up camera on their device, don't know. I
it's a
don't think
powerful
it's
phone.
great. It's very powerful, very,
But
very
then
powerful
again,
phone. The
do you know
fastest
what?
phone available in the market at the moment.
Yeah, but I have an issue with this. I mean, how much grunt do you need in a phone?
True, exactly. I mean, if you need that amount,
Because everything's in the cloud, everything's getting streamed from the cloud, everything's getting played from the cloud. I mean, you're not actually taxing the device.
I mean, do you know what? The whole phone market is now becoming like the laptop market and the PC market, where the specs are what sell now. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, but then
there was a period.
specs only sell on a PC because you want to have the best gaming
Yeah,
experience, right?
but now
Let's be honest. But now that's all changed.
but now if you yeah, it's true. But now if you go into if you got any reviews, the first thing they talk about the specs, how much, well, what's the latest chip they've got, what's the amount of RAM they have, everything, and so that grabs you straight away due to the figures. And
True.
it
But
never
yet
used to be the case with phones before.
Apple think it's okay to charge you a bomb for something that has 4 gigs of RAM versus
Yeah,
a OnePlus 7
true.
Pro that has 12. 12.
Yeah, true,
That's
true.
more than my little MacBook Pro right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Insane.
exactly. Me too as well. But yeah, strange, crazy. But
But
leading
then
on
do
from
you think
there,
people are now running after specs rather than what the phone can do
I
just
mean, I
generally?
personally now do look at specs a lot more than I used to. So when I
Okay.
look at a phone, I think, oh, it's a new device. Yeah, it looks slick, but what are the specs? Is it going to be
Right.
as fast enough for me to handle opening on apps? Is it not going to crash on me? It's not going to stall on me. I mean, especially if you look at these, a lot of these mid-range phones nowadays they look pretty much the same as the Samsungs. They look as good as the I think Motorola's now bringing out the punch hole camera.
Yeah.
There's so many devices there that are bringing out the punch hole and pop-ups as well. But again, the
But talking
specs are
about
less than the
mid-range, we've got a new mid-range contender to be king of it all. Google Pixel
yeah,
3a and 3a
yeah,
XL. I mean, what do
yeah.
you make of that?
I mean, like I said before, they're now going for that market now. I think consumers are going to pay that amount of money. Then that sort of changes what I'm saying. Are they? Well, maybe they're not worried about specs. Maybe they are just going around
No, but
having
they've
a.
always been about the camera. They were like, check out our
Yeah, I
camera.
mean, that's the main thing. The camera is so immense, so good that I know the end user wants to take amazing photos, and having a camera on a £300 device, £350 device,
I mean, it's a
which
good
is
camera.
amazing. Yeah,
It is a very good
amazing
camera.
camera.
So,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
can't really bash that. I mean, I've been taking pictures with it. I've sent you a night shot picture.
yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
So, so yeah,
But yeah,
for those of you who really care about picture quality and a low price, Google Pixel
that's
3a, get
that's the
it.
way to go. I mean, if
Yeah,
you don't want to fork out £800, £900. I
yeah.
mean, the difference between £900 and 99 pound, 350. It's not a huge amount.
No,
Um, it's 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 on par really, exactly on par when you're paying less than half the price. It's a no-brainer
true,
really.
true.
Um, but again, if you're worried about specs and having apps open and so forth, having a certain amount working on your phone, then yeah, you would want to go for a flagship.
Yeah.
But yeah, but leading on from there, going to the next side of things, 5G,
Oh,
which
I'm
is
so
rolling out
excited for
soon.
5G. For
Do
me,
you know
it
what?
is
I am getting
exciting.
more and more excited now.
I tell no, no. I tell you why I'm excited is because sometimes if I don't fancy reading my Kindle or whatnot, I'm either working or I'm doing something, right? I actually have, as you know, an Azure VM which has Windows on there, which I run on my iPad. I've bought a Citrix X1 mouse that actually works, so I actually have a working mouse on this iPad. And yeah, if I had that fast connection, stable everywhere, I could just use that VM constantly to do even more complex stuff. But the
Yeah,
whole idea of it is everything's connected. It doesn't matter your car, your phone, your watches, whatever you have is going to be connected at a gig.
crazy speeds. I mean, if in the real world, once it's fully launched and we get that amount of speed, that is beating any home broadband, really. I mean, that's where you look at the end consumer and think the prices are going to change for the home broadband. People hopefully will get cheaper options, especially when you have a device in your hand which is 10 times as fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
That's
but
just
like,
crazy.
have you seen EE have said 5G is coming out 30th of May? End of next week actually? Yeah, next week, 30th of May, 5G is rolling out for EE. Um, I
So
think
beating
the first
Vodafone to the
devices.
punch.
Yeah, Vodafone were what I read today. Were Vodafone were meant to have a launch or
3rd of July,
tomorrow.
wasn't it?
So yeah, no, there was a launch that they were going to do, a public launch, but they've
Oh,
now
okay.
cancelled it due to the fact that they don't know what's going on with Huawei. So, but I think they're still on point to launch it on the 3rd July.
Right.
Yeah, but
So,
EE, yeah, beating everyone.
but EE's launches in Edinburgh out of all places.
Yeah, I think
The first one, I think.
no, I think they are launching it in London as well. But
Okay. I
yeah,
was under the impression it was Edinburgh,
yeah.
but
So
no, you could be right.
30th of May is launching in Edinburgh, Cardiff, Belfast, Birmingham, London, and Manchester.
Wow.
So yeah, wow, they are they're pushing ahead.
That's
But
gonna.
I think the
I'm
same
so
day,
blatantly going to get myself
yeah. But at the
a
moment,
5G phone.
5G will only work in the outdoors. It won't work indoors. I don't think they've increased the capabilities until a bit later on.
Which is
But
fair play, but still,
yeah,
I still would like to play around with it.
yeah, definitely. I think the first phone is going to be the Samsung. Um, but
I
yeah,
want to pick up the hotspot more so than anything else, purely
yeah,
because
I was just going to
I
say
don't
that.
want to
Yeah,
be I don't want to be tied to a phone as of yet. But I
mm,
wouldn't mind to have a hotspot that I can just
yeah,
tether to and just enjoy that connection.
yeah. I think they're going to release it as a home broadband side of things as well in the next, I think end of June. I think it says.
Right.
So yeah, they're going to release that. So
But the US have been
yeah,
enjoying 5G for a little while.
yeah, they have, yeah. And from all the tests that we've seen, it's crazy,
It is
crazy speeds.
amazing. So for any of our US listeners, please do reach out to us and let us know if you do have a 5G device and
Definitely.
how it's like. And I know that it's again they're still rolling it out, but we would love to hear from you because both Mandeep and I are really waiting to play with this technology and
Yeah.
and just test out the speeds for herself. I mean, to be honest, home broadband is one of our things, or broadband connectivity speeds are one of the things that we both really go for. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually remember when I sent you my latest updates to a gig
Wow.
at home,
Yeah.
and
That was.
you're there just like,
Oh,
what?
see, you're getting that 1 gig, and then what in 4 or 5 weeks? Essentially, you could have that all in your hand on a
I know
device. That's mental. That is
that is mental.
absolutely mental.
That is mental.
But yeah, it's just
But
the way
then
forward. I mean, coming into that
5G
stream,
helps with streaming.
yeah,
And again, I know we've talked about streaming a lot in our previous podcast, but game streaming is now the
yeah,
biggest thing now. Forget about Netflix, forget about that.
yeah.
It's all about game streaming. And the
It's
big
gonna be the future.
announcement, which was a surprise, is that Sony are going to use Microsoft Azure to host their streaming services.
Yeah. I was
Like,
taken
what
aback by
is
that.
going on?
Couldn't believe they were doing that. I mean, that's just the holy grail. That is two big companies working together now.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But then
So we can see some
this is
major
my
developments
theory
coming
of,
along now.
so being a massive Microsoft fanboy, as everybody knows, my theory
Just
here.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, just about. But my theory here is that I think Microsoft are going to kill their hardware. So I think the next Xbox, if they do make a next Xbox, will be their last one. And I think they're going to turn it into an Xbox Live and host game streaming. That's the future. Forget
Yeah.
about hardware. Forget about buying a console. Because essentially, you drop, let's say, $500, £500, however much it is for a console. But with a game streaming service, you're guaranteed from every user to get, let's say, $10 a month. You know, that's
Exactly.
you can get
I
50
mean,
people that pays off for that, and then you get more. So
yeah.
so yeah, as I
Xbox
was
is.
saying, it's going like the whole streaming side of stuff
Yeah.
is
It's
just going to be.
it's going to be massive. I mean, the fact that you're stating people forking out £500, $500 on these devices, on these consoles, and then with the help of 5G and game streaming, yeah, like you wouldn't need that anymore. You're not tied down having to have it in a certain location.
No, but companies are going to
Essentially,
make
you've got
more
the
money.
console. Yeah,
They're going to
you
make more money,
essentially,
right?
yeah,
Let's be honest, right?
yeah,
A
no, cool.
console is a one-off payment, and then you pay for a game, and if you feel like, because you're streaming, you're going to pay for that service. You're going to give payment every month. They're going to get a lot more from it.
Yeah, of course. And then the fact that I'm saying that is instead of having this one console in a certain location in your house that you only have access to every now and again because you're obviously other locations doing other things, you'd have it on your phone. You can do so much. Anytime you want to pick up a game and play, you can play on your 5G connection, connect remotely to the game streaming service, and play away. You could be anywhere playing, which is just great. Absolutely
There's
great.
going to be a lot of companies looking to block a lot of services. But
Yeah,
now, when we talk about this, and if you're going to look into a more complex situation, you have to be really granular with how you're going to block stuff because Google are going to launch it. Amazon are touted to be working on it since November. We obviously they've got different major companies that host so many stuff. Like you got to be really refined. So you can't. So if let's say if Amazon are hosting it on AWS, for example, and you block AWS ports, that's going to block some of your work stuff. So this causes a lot of pain for people who work in network generally to do this, blacklist, whitelist
that's
nonsense
true.
and that they need to
So
do.
true.
So it's gonna cause a little bit of complications. So,
Yeah.
for all of our techs out there in the world that have to work with networking, that have to work with making sure that everything's blocked off or allowed, yeah, just wait for things to slightly happen in that
Yeah,
medium where you need to really be granular with what you're blocking because
yeah. You make the
it's
wrong
gonna be
move, you might end
difficult.
up blocking the wrong
I mean,
service.
YouTube. Let's look at Stadia or Stradia or whatever they're calling it, Google. You launch a game off YouTube. So does that mean you're going to block YouTube videos?
Yeah,
It's going to be a fairly difficult one for
yeah,
organizations to play around with, and I'm just saying this aloud because I've got work on my mind and I'm kind of thinking, wow, that this is going to be a big thing, a big
yeah,
challenge.
yeah. The
So does this
next,
now mean that companies need to beef up their connections just to tailor for stuff like this. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
it, it's very interesting. Very
Yeah, it's
interesting
true.
times.
But, we'll see what happens with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, this whole gaming side of things, helping with streaming, it's gonna be the Netflix of games coming up, um, and it's coming to a point where it's getting convoluted. There's so many different companies are
Yeah.
coming out with this. It's the
It's
same
not
as the
even
video
out yet,
streaming.
and it's already convoluted.
Exactly. It's been
Yeah.
launched every 2 minutes somewhere by some other company, and
Yeah.
we'll see what the end consumer picks up. Which one is going to be the leader out of it all? I mean, it all
I'm gonna
depends on
hedge.
which
Yeah.
company markets it as well. So
Well, no, it's not marketing. I think this is more so what companies are going to use what. So there's a lot of rumors that Nintendo might use Xbox Live as their gaming platform to connect everybody. Sony are looking to use Azure, which potentially what I'm thinking of is I think Xbox is going to become a service rather than anything else, so other game companies can use that backend. So I think eventually we'll have two or three major companies piggybanking of different cloud infrastructures. I think this is going to be an AWS versus Azure battle again. And I think Google are going to be left behind in this battle. That's my theory. I think it's going to be
true.
between, I'm going to think it's going to be between those two now. Again. And at the
But
moment,
another side of things from that is what you just said as well about YouTube. When you're on a YouTube video and you've seen a game, you just click on play now. That is a major capability for them to use and take
yeah,
over.
but
If they
Google
do it
Cloud
as good,
hasn't
but
taken off very well, though.
yeah,
I mean,
but I
their
mean the
fiber
fact,
connection wasn't big.
yeah, I mean if
That
they can
kind of flopped a
refine
little
it
bit.
and make it work, I mean YouTube is a go-between for anyone watching anything really. If they're on that platform, just to click on a game, you see a game trailer, you click on it to play. Yeah, they've got the ultimate platform to make it work,
Not for
but
gamers,
it
though.
depends.
Not for gamers. Because if you look at the gaming community, they use Twitch more so
Yeah,
than YouTube, and Twitch is owned by Amazon.
yeah, true.
So so if you take that in account on what gaming platform people watch most on, it's Twitch, which is Amazon. Hence why I say I still believe it's an Amazon versus Microsoft battle.
That's true.
I could be wrong. I
True.
could be very wrong.
Yeah.
But for me,
It's
I
interesting
just
times.
yeah, it is very interesting. But
Yeah.
again, the amount of data we are consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to be funny, but somebody really needs to come out there and look at digital well-being. And I think this is going to be another big thing now. We're beginning the whole, how to disconnect, and I think there needs to be a company that
That
pushes for
that's
digital
true.
well-being.
That is true. I mean, it's only going to get more and more now,
I mean, it's going to
especially
be
5G
scary
coming
for
out.
children. I mean,
Yeah,
let's take your son
definitely.
for example. There's a
Yeah.
possibility he may be stuck in front of the screen all the time.
Yeah, which is definitely not something we want. Um, but it's weird. I mean, the future's going that way. So you're trying to fight that battle.
Mm.
But do you accept it, or do you continue fighting? That's what you just don't know. You just don't know what the market's changing, what's
I don't think
happening
it
out
has to
there.
be a fight though, Mandeep. I think we can live with technology as long as we
We
do it
can,
right. But we're not doing
but
it
then
right.
but then the old school nature in us comes out. Oh, do you remember the days when we used to just do this? We used to do that. We had nothing, and yet, yeah, I don't
You're
know.
making me sound really old here because I remember the
That's
days we didn't
it
even have
happens.
mobile phones.
Exactly, we had
So
nothing at all. God, now you think back, what did we actually do? Actually, don't know. My son asked me, so what did you do when you had no PlayStation? You had nothing.
we went
She
out on
can't
a
remember.
bike, played football,
Watched
and just
four,
chilled. That was
watched
it.
four channels, watched 4 channels on TV. That's all we
I
had.
watched Dallas as
Played
a
outside
kid.
on my bike.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. Oh yes, that was a.
Oh my
I'll
god,
never
that was a
think about
family
watching
thing
that
for
with my
us.
kids anymore, but that is a family thing.
No.
Yeah, a soap to watch with your families.
EastEnders,
Um,
Coronation Street.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
um, but yeah,
Daughters and Sons, which was a weird program back in the day. But
yeah.
obviously, we're not going to talk about
So
that. But
that's
it's
another
crazy.
vibes history
Yeah,
memory
yeah. Retro vibes.
podcast that
Maybe
we
we
need to
should
do. Yeah,
start off a
yeah. Maybe
retro
we should do
vibes.
actually. Yeah,
talk about old school stuff that wasn't
Yeah,
here.
that'd be a good one actually. Trigger
Yeah,
people's thoughts and the
yeah.
memories of simpler
But
times.
it goes to show within the last 30 odd years and how much technology has grown and how far we pushed it and
Yeah,
how forward we are now. It's just such a different beast, absolutely different beast, and it is very exciting times. I still believe technology should be here to enhance and not to take over.
yeah,
And I do think that we need to bring in the whole element of helping users to cut, to allow them to obviously come off.
yeah, no,
Apple and
definitely.
Google are doing it with the whole digital well-being stuff. Office 365 has an entire insight page to say how much time you spent in meetings and whatnot, and how much time you could have taken to actually disconnect. It is recognized, but it isn't
Yeah,
being pushed far enough.
that's true. I mean, is it going to be a governing body or something that takes over and decides that it should be something in every single platform that's launched?
Yeah.
I believe there should be really. There needs to be something.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now, talking about gaming, you were mentioning about the PlayStation 5 loading times.
Yeah, so I saw a clip yesterday of a
Yeah,
convention, I think it was, where they launched. We just gave a few demos of PS5, and they showed the loading times of the new PS5 compared to the current PS4 Pro, 10 times faster. There was a game that they launched. It took zero point 0.8 seconds to launch. It took 8.15 seconds to launch on a PS4 Pro. It doesn't seem huge, but when
that's
you're
a
comparing
massive
the two
difference.
screens together with the
Yeah,
two images, you realize someone was playing 8 seconds ahead of you. It was immense. And there was another video where they showed an open world and how the camera was zooming through a street, if you like. And it
yep,
was on PS4 Pro, it got to a certain amount and then stuttered while it tried to draw the next amount of imagery on the
yep.
screen. But the PS5, it just went throughout the whole street to the very end with not a single stutter. It was amazing.
Which goes to show
But
how far we've come with technology. But again,
yeah,
is it really needed? Because you can stream this.
exactly. I mean, to be honest, are they going to actually launch it as console, or will they actually put it in data centers
No, they
for
are
you to?
saying they want to launch it as a console,
You never know. They could
right?
change that. I mean, especially with this
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
side of things going with Microsoft, they could end up changing and thinking, do you know what? Let's launch it in data centers for anyone to connect to, and for having a premium price or a monthly subscription that people
yeah.
connect to.
That's going to
That could be
cost too
their
much. That is going to cost too much money, without a question of a doubt. I can already think
yeah,
about it costing $600 to £600.
mm,
I mean, something that
true,
run native 4K and that kind of power, that is a lot of money.
yeah.
Could we
I'm
ever see a
excited.
first $1,000 console?
Can't see why not
If
really. If
if
you've got
if if
$1,000
if
phones in your hand,
phones, yeah, exactly. Could we see
people are
our first?
paying.
Yeah.
People well, sort of paying anyway. But yeah,
So that's gonna be an interesting one.
crazy.
Like prices are shooting up in certain elements here.
But then when the PS5 comes out, or are they going to increase the prices of the games now as well? They're going to have $100 games.
They
Um,
already cost $100 if
yeah,
you
I know when
unlock
you
everything.
add all the packs and everything, expansion, this expansion and
Sometimes
that.
sometimes even more than $100. You're
Yeah,
probably looking at spending thousands and thousands on a
yeah,
game that you don't even
it's,
realize.
it's crazy. That is crazy. The thought of paying that amount of money for a game that you essentially might get bored with eventually. Um, once you've
It's very
completed it,
true.
or
Yeah.
yeah, obviously you have the multiplayer side of things as well. But yeah,
But then again, you release a new update the following year, nobody plays the previous year, and you're going to buy the same content again.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
But I think just generally, I know a lot of people complain about the economy, but I think we have now full on become digital consumers, and we don't count that in properly enough. And I think
Yeah,
when it comes to a lot of financial firms, and I'm just talking aloud here, I think a lot of financial firms out there should start concentrating on digitized spending, digitized budgets. So, yes, we've got bank accounts. Yes, you've got hard money But do we now need to come up with something to say, right, let's split this. Let's look at your digital world. Let's look at your digital spends. Because I don't think it goes far enough. I don't think anybody monitors digital spending well enough to
Yeah,
this day.
that's true.
So if somebody
That's
can
true.
capture that, you're onto a winner. And then you can separate your real life world and your digital world, and you can then see your expenses between two different areas,
That's
and you
true.
can weigh up: are you spending a lot digitally? Are you spending a lot on subscriptions that you don't need?
Yeah, that's
Do
true.
you
That's
even
true.
realize how much you're spending digitally? Because
It's
people are
it's
paying for Prime,
it's
Netflix,
it's,
they'll
it's
pay
mad.
for Apple, they pay for game streaming, they pay for TV streaming, let alone anything else. Now TV is a great example of it,
Yeah,
right? You pay for music streaming, um, you pay for home automation. Oh my God, home automation and 5G. We completely
yeah,
forgot about that. Everything will be
that's true.
connected, and you don't even need to use your internet connection for that.
Yeah,
Um, but then there's a subscription on Nest. There's a just there's a
yeah,
subscription on Ring. There's
yeah.
a subscription on all of these things. So if you're counting all of this in, do people actually recognize how much they're spending digitally? So that's a question to all of our listeners.
Yeah,
Do you know how much you are spending digitally every month? Or have you even bothered to separate that? Because
yeah,
I know I don't.
that's true.
I'm being honest with
That
you.
is
I
true.
probably spend a lot more money digitally than I actually realize.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are so many platforms out there. It's mad the amount of the amount of platforms that you can go start spending money on. And you won't, yeah, after a while you just won't know how much you spend.
No,
Um,
no. And it'd be
yeah,
great for someone to come up with something to say, here's your digital report every week
yeah,
or every month.
that's true.
And I think
I
that'll
mean
be an eye opener.
that I think something banks should really do when they do some sort of a monthly expenditure, like a pie chart, basically, just so
Yeah.
you spent this amount of money on digital. Um,
Digital products, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So food for thought.
I'm not sure if they do, to be honest. I mean, I haven't seen
But
anything. Even in
I
my
don't
banks, I
think
haven't seen anything.
it goes far enough. Even if
Yeah,
they do, I've not seen it, and I don't think they go far enough. I think they still rely on you to figure out what's what. But if somebody can do that work for you, I think that'd be brilliant.
yeah, it's true.
So, you know.
True.
But again, I would love to hear from our listeners to find out. Do you actually keep track of what you spend digitally now? Especially when
Yeah,
it comes to music subscription or when it comes to film subscriptions or even magazines now are a subscription. Apple
s-
have their
s-
new News Plus
exactly.
app, and
Soon
so
there'll be gaming
God,
subscriptions on top of that as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. Game subscription. Kindles have a subscription, so if you want to have
Yeah,
I
read a
pay for it
book.
because I
Yeah,
read quite a fair amount of books, but still pay a monthly fee for that.
yeah. Wow. True.
It is a big thing, definitely. Cool. Well, I guess we're done for this episode.
Yeah, I think
But
that's pretty much a lot covered from the last few weeks in
yeah,
tech. Um,
true.
so
Yeah,
yeah, we'll
we,
see
we
what happens
will we
coming
will
up.
try to keep this up to date regularly, but if we do have a
Yeah,
gap, it's purely because sometimes you do get a lull in that area. But
yeah,
if there is a topic that you want to hit us about, our email address is in the description of the podcast.
yeah. Well,
Just hit us up.
even if you have something that you want to say, or if you want to speak about as well, by all means, be our guest. Be our
Yeah,
guest
yeah.
on
I mean,
on
we
our
are
podcast.
looking. Yeah, Mandy doesn't know this, so I'm filling you in now, right now. But we are looking to have one or two guests from the US
Yeah,
to chime in, and we're looking forward to that. That's going to be amazing.
yeah,
So hopefully we can get some US influence as well into our chat, and we're looking to get
yeah,
everybody else involved around the world. Um, Honestly, if you would love to be a guest, let us know. You're more than welcome to come onto the show. We would love to hear from you.
yeah.
And we could
Definitely.
even go as far as doing a live podcast with having people dial in. Who knows? That's just a crazy idea I'm having right
Yeah.
now. But
Wow.
we definitely want to
Yeah.
make this grow.
No, definitely. It's good to make it grow. Good to bring people into it as well. Bring everyone
Yeah,
together. Talk about the main topic that we love, tech.
yeah. Tech. Cool. Well, anyway, thank you
Yep.
very much for listening. to the latest episode of Vibes, and we will chat to you all soon.
Yeah,
And
thank you
yeah,
very
like I said,
much.
yeah, thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and
Yep.
yeah, we will chat to everybody soon. So
Yeah,
until the
definitely,
next
guys.
podcast,
Take
cheerio.
care.